Hello, Meoni here, and welcome on today, the 7th of April 2022, for possibly what might be the last update to the special site for patch 6.1. The link will be in the description, but we usually go through all of the updates they put on here, and this one is worth doing today. There's quite a lot of new information, new items added to here, and new updates are always indicated by a green circle. So let's just go straight into it. So what have they changed? What have they added since last time? If you want to look at the other videos I've done on the 6.1 special sites, they're all labeled with the same title, 6.1 special site update, and then something or something, something, something. So what is new on here that we haven't seen? Aha! So it starts with the side story quest then as a new update, talking about Tataru's grand endeavor. For the most part, we don't really know much about this other than Tataru's going her own direction, much like the other Scions of the Seventh Dawn that have unofficially, but sort of officially at the same time, disbanded. But they're still kind of together, going their own separate ways and exploring their own different sort of side stories. This is Tataru's. It says, as Scion coinkeeper, and crafty craftswoman, Tataru is more than cut out for running her own boutique. Nay, the true question is how the world, and indeed the Warrior of Light, is to keep up with her ambitious designs. And we have that cracking grin there, reminding me that even more so that I would love to see her as the final boss of this game before the end of time. She seriously has definitely got that look to her. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Tataru gets into. Memes aside, I do enjoy her as a character. Very well written, brilliant voice acting. Hopefully we get more of the same. That's all I can say. But apart from that, I'm guessing her own boutique that she opened up in Charlian is doing well, maybe? Probably too well, who knows? Maybe we're funding her, invasion of the world, perhaps, with her costumes and terrible outfits. Second of which, we have another side story, which is Omega Beyond the Rift. This is something that I thought was just going to be something small and insignificant as just like a follow-up, but it turns out that this is quite a hefty storyline, or should be, so this is very interesting. This does appear to be locked behind people completing the Omega Raid series back in Stormblood, so I would advise, much like Yoshi P, to go and actually complete that. But the follow-up is that if you've completed Endwalker, spoilers, the end area has a lot to do with Omega, and this is a follow-up questline with that. And it says, a mysterious transmission lifted from the flight logs of the Ragnarok launches an unexpected journey of discovery. A tale once thought ended was only just beginning, ... So what does this imply? Does this imply a return to the Omega as like a raid series? What is this implying into the future? Who knows? But at the moment, it's just a side story quest. I do like to see Alpha. Alpha is a fan favorite, and obviously, Biggs and Wedge's involvement and the miniature Omega there. It does look like we'll be going via spaceship, though, because as you can see in the background of this image, this is the hangar where the Ragnarok is stored, or perhaps they're just looking at the records in there. I'm looking forward to whatever we end up doing with that spaceship. We have a spaceship now. We can go lots of different places we couldn't before. Next up, they have a segment right up about the Hildebrand Adventures. The somehow further Hildebrand Adventures. Last seen vanishing into the interdimensional rift alongside his arch-rival Gilgamesh, or Greg. Hildebrand, Agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has resurfaced in a rather concerning state. Reunite with his ever-enterprising assistant Nashu, that you might get to the bottom of what is sure to be another hair-raising, heart-pounding case. So if you don't know anything about Hildebrand, go do Hildebrand. Seriously. It's kind of like slapstick humor, a lot of humor that some people don't like. I personally love it because it's a good distraction from the serious tones that especially Endwalker and usually expansions have. It's a lot of fun. We actually last saw Hildebrand inside the Grand Cosmos, a dungeon in the last expansion, and that was the only time we've seen him. But the last proper thing was back in Stormblood, which is crazy, isn't it, to think of how long ago that was. It does look like Hildebrand here in this picture, with his amazing smile and cracked monocle, appears to be in Lakeland. So, yeah, I guess that's where we'll be picking up. Maybe he'll be an expansion behind chronologically, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining. I'm just hoping that throughout the Hildebrand series in this expansion that we get some kind of trial. Some of my favorite trials were like Ultros, for example, and stuff like that, and Battle on the Big Bridge. I mean, how can you not love that? Next, we have a write-up on the Arcasadora, which is the tribe quest. We're not calling the beast tribes anymore for many reasons. These are tribal quests. It says, hulking in stature and kind at heart, the Arcasadora are known for their alchemical ingenuity and hippo carts. It says, follow a crew of young upstarts seeking to blaze a new trail across Favnir's history and ride like no one has ridden before. On your mark, the open road awaits, end quote. So we have this lovely image here of the Warrior of Light meeting the Arcasadora, presumably in charge of this. This new tribal quest series, formerly known as the Beast Tribes, is a side story basically with weekly unlocks as well as daily quests to actually unlock those weekly upgrades to ranking and stuff like that. It's a daily quest hub. What can you say? Usually the rewards are pretty good. I hear that the hippo cart, like the rickshaw that you sit in with the hippo at the front, is actually the mount from this. Yoshi P showed that off on the 70th letter from a producer live. There's likely a hippo minion as well, and probably other stuff. Who knows? But the cart is confirmed to be a mount from this. I'm very hyped about this one. From the cutscenes we've seen briefly, like the little hints in the trailer for 6.1, very excited. I cannot wait to get stuck in. Top tip for this, whilst I'm here, if you log in on the launch day of 6.1 and you are able to log in before reset, you're able to do 2 sets of dailies on day 1, which means you will be 1 entire day ahead of other people that log in after reset. So bear that in mind. As soon as maintenance is over, this should potentially be the first thing you want to do if you want to be doing this every single day and get it the same time as everyone else. That's the secret to it. A lot of people ask, how have you got this mount a day early than everyone else? That's exactly why, because it's not earlier than everyone else. It's just that you can do an extra set of dailies before reset. So there you go. Hopefully that helps people. Next, we have the custom deliveries client, a write-up on Emelian's Levier, which of course is the twins' mother that we met in Endwalker. It says, with the final days averted, great waves of change have reached the shores of Sharlayan. The burden of its duty lifted, the long reticent seat of knowledge has begun to open its borders at last, and in the midst of such upheaval, Emelian's Levier has a new venture in mind. So this is another custom deliveries client, which is gathering and crafting content, although it doesn't specify that here, but it will be. Where essentially you craft stuff, you help the custom delivery client with whatever they require. Usually it's orphan work, for example, in Idleshire, or we help to rebuild places like in Ishgard, stuff like that. You basically bring something, you craft something of a certain quality, or you gather something of a certain quality, and then you turn that in, and you will get scripts, experience, and actually it is weekly locked as part of a storyline. And usually there is a reward at the end, so fingers crossed that the reward this time is exciting. This is another thing I would recommend for you to do sooner rather than later, before you forget it, as soon as a patch comes out. Although this isn't as important as, obviously, the time-sensitive nature of doing the dailies for the Beast Tribe. So the new system section we've already seen before. Let's scroll down a bit. But this section we haven't seen. or at least haven't read on this website, this is Dream Fitting, which is the online store try-on feature. Essentially, when you go to a bed in the game now, in an in-room, you'll be able to select Dream Fitting. I'm glad they kept that name, it's quite nice. Dream Fitting allows you to essentially dream of things that you could own, very realistically. So the cash shop is something that gets updated regularly and is fully optional, and a lot of cosmetic based stuff without any stats involved in that. And this allows you to look through various different categories, as you can see on that image there on the left side, and you'll be able to preview it on your actual character. One of the benefits of this is usually you cannot see these previews on your character. Usually the website and the store page itself doesn't actually give enough examples of what, you know, outfits might look like. Especially for Viera and Hrothgar. Does this hat work? Does this look good on my character? Well, now you don't have to wonder, because you can just go to the bed, preview a new item, and then go, ooh, that looks nice. You're also able to preview certain parts of items with whatever you have currently equipped. As you can see in the demonstration picture that they've got here, the screenshot, they're wearing this, I think they're the spring bottoms, right? And they're trying on the Durndal's bodice to see how well that matches together. Based on that, presumably the player would choose to purchase that or not to. And as you can see, if they wish to purchase that, there is actually a link to the online store, which obviously opens a browser. Very cool stuff. Personally, I like this. Some people didn't like the idea of having microtransaction stuff sort of like forced upon you in the game, but I think this is the least aggressive way of doing it. And at the end of the day, it's quality of life, in my opinion, and quite nice. It does say here, shop for garb and gear as never before with Dream Fitting, an exciting new feature that allows your Warrior of Light to try on items from the Final Fantasy XIV online store. Fantasize, glamorize, and accessorize to reach new heights of fashion in the accoutrements, I can't speak, of your dreams. Very nice, and as we said with the image there earlier, I'm quite hyped for this. It helps a lot of people, so that's good, but it's not going to stop me from making my own videos, especially with dye options. And honestly, the one thing that I wish that they had here was the ability to preview this stuff in actual in-game lighting. That's one of the complaints I do have. Great feature, but the in-game lighting is so different than the fitting room preview windows here. These preview windows are usually quite pitted, washed out, and has fake lighting. It doesn't do it justice, and real in-game lighting might actually make some of this stuff look a little less good. So bear that in mind. Next section, we have talking about adventurer plates. We went into great detail on the live letter summary with this, because so did Yoshi P. Essentially, this is a way of previewing players during certain content, or if you want to inspect a player, and it will tell you information about them. It says customize your very own calling card and introduce yourself to fellow adventurers with this expansive profile feature. Let's click on the picture there. So as you can see on here, you actually have a fully blown two sets of setting windows. One is like a photo studio where you take a picture and then that picture is then used. It's like a miniature G-pose feature, and that picture is then used on whatever your calling card looks like. The calling card itself can be customized as well. All of these frames, the map, the borders, the scroll, all the coloration, all of that can be changed as well. And you can even unlock new frames and new features to add to your calling card by doing certain content, completing certain achievements, and indeed PvP as far as we know at this time, which is very exciting. As you can see, it has the name of the player, where they play, what their favorite job is, and you can change this yourself. So you just tick whichever your main is or your favorite job. You automatically, it displays your rank in your grand company. It also shows your free company information, so what the name of your free company is and where they are based, such as Uldar in this case, example. The times of which you play, so the ones that you're most likely to be around on. So presumably this implies that you can inspect people's profile window here whilst they're offline, otherwise this feature wouldn't be very good. But essentially in the edit window, you can tick little boxes and it gives you times. So that way you can better match with other players. For me, this would be just pure orange, unfortunately, because I'm always kind of about. And also down here, you have favorite types of content. So you can tell people that I like PvP, I like raiding, or, you know, sort of favorite content. There's also like activities such as guild making, RP, that sort of stuff. And it says looking to make some new friends. I believe that's something you can put in there. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this is quite an expansive feature. It is in its fairly early stages. The base use case scenario for when this will be forced upon a player, the only time we've seen so far, is apparently in PvP. In Crystalline Conflict, there will be a list with people's profile images and that basic information with their image that they chose here. Their calling card will be displayed at the start of PvP matches. So this team is this, and this person, and then the other team is this. So that's the only time we've seen that so far, at least in a live letter, forced upon a player. Apart from that, is completely optional, and you'd actually have to go and set it up. You can also choose to hide some of this information as well. There is security options, so you can open it to public, or to nobody, or just to your friends, and I think FC members as well. I can't remember. I think it's friend list. So very cool stuff. Next up, we have the New Game Plus update. A lot of people are excited about New Game Plus, specifically because they don't want to play through the entire game or boost a character. Why should they when they have New Game Plus? New Game Plus will be updated, I believe, up till 6.0. I don't think it'll be up to 6.1. So if you want to enjoy the expansion again, on the same character you play and play through those, you know, through the expansion's main scenario and all of the duties you know, accompanying that, you totally can. It says relive the exciting and emotional conclusion of the Tale of the Star with the addition of Endwalker's main scenario and role quests. Oh, the role quests are included to New Game Plus. That's cool. So if you, I don't know, skipped your role quest to get them done, or if you just, you know, didn't read them properly, or you forgot them, this is a good chance, because in 6.1 they're actually adding new role quests, like additions to those storylines. So if you want a refresher, that's totally a good idea. Very nice. And I believe finally one of the last things talked about, or one of the last things, is data center travel coming in 6.18. This is logical data center travel and not physical. What that means is you'll be able to transfer temporarily your character between different data centers via a visit system on the character select window. But logical data centers are, for example, on EU we have Chaos and Light. I will only be able to data center travel between Chaos and Light. I will not be able to traverse regions. So that's what logical means. Physical data centers are Japan, EU, America, for example. That's what that means. So bear in mind, 6.18 data center travel comes out in the form of logical data center travel. Future plans are supposedly working on region transfer, but we don't know. It says, traverse the great data rift at last and visit worlds on different data centers with this much anticipated feature. Travelers can even form parties and challenge duties on worlds that they visit, allowing you to build vaster alliances of adventuring companions than ever before. It does say in asterisks here, this feature only allows for travel between logical data centers within the same physical data center. Travel between Japanese, North American, European, and Oceanic data centers is unavailable, which is exactly what we just said. So it's logical, not physical. The restrictions apparently are much like visiting another server on your data center. Same things apply, only with a few other things like cross-world link shells won't work properly. But they will work, apparently, on the actual destination or place that you joined them. But you won't be able to use a cross-world link shell on a different data center back on your data center. You would actually have to move over there first. There are a couple of other restrictions, and I advise you look at the lodestone for more information. And I believe this is one of the last segments of write-up, at least, which is the Unending Codex. We've asked for a glossary or bestiary type thing for a very long time. We're finally getting the Unending Codex. The Unending Codex is essentially a lore book a glossary of all terms, characters, and pieces of information that you could potentially want to look up. It is in its first sort of iteration going into 6.1 and will be updated and backdated with old information going forward. However, as you can see here, the image does display what you're basically getting. It says, accessible from your collection menu, the Unending Codex puts vital information about in-game terminology and characters at your fingertips. Review this handwritten record of key concepts from your journey thus far whenever you feel the details of past adventures are slipping from your grasp. Sometimes, especially in a game that has multiple expansions and many, many years, you forget certain characters that you meet in the storyline. They might reintroduce a character and you're like, wait, where do I remember that person from? Who was this Grahatier character? That would have been incredibly helpful in Shadowbringers, definitely, because a lot of people were like, wait, who was Grahatier again? Oh, right, the guy from Crystal Tower, right? Some of us had played for many, many years, like myself, since, you know, the start of The Realm Reborn in the beta, and in 1.0 specifically before that. So it's been a while, so having a glossary is a really cool idea, and as you can see, there's a write-up on Tataru here. You don't need to read all of this to know that she's actually the actual true Zodiac Primal. So that's all I'm going to say here. You don't have to read through this to know that. No, memes aside, it's a really nice write-up, lots of lore, and honestly, there might be chances to see more information here than anywhere else before, including the lore books in real life. So it's going to be exciting to see what little bits and, you know, reference they put in, and Koji Fox and the rest of the team are usually quite hilarious when it comes to write-ups and little anecdotes, so I'm looking forward to this. And as you can see, there's an example of the Scions there and the final days, but you'll see that there's different icons depending on what type of glossary information that is. There's players and like characters, sorry, NPCs, which are an NPC icon, and then there are books, which are like specific moments in time, I think. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this feature expand. It would also be nice to get some like screenshots of a character in game as well. That would be cool, but I don't know if that's possible. But this is first iteration, so we'll see what happens. Moving on then, we have new items. Obviously, yeah, there's the Garrow Collaboration returning. We already talked about this. This is cool. This is a brand new mount. This is the first time we have seen this. So in 6.1, we get the Endsinger on extreme difficulty. This will be the lynx that comes from that. As you know, we have lynxes with wings from Heidelin and Zodiac at the minute on their extreme difficulties. It makes sense that there would be a third entry to that mount series. Usually there's like 7 or 8 mounts or something in a collection throughout an expansion's trials. This is the third one, and I love them. They're fantastic looking, but I still need to get the other 2 as well. Heck, I haven't even finished collecting dragon greebers. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'm really excited for the extreme, actually, and what a sexy reward. There are new minions. We looked at a lot of this in the live letter, which is the only way I know about this. But look at that adorable doggo. How can you not love that doggo? Come on, he's got an adorable face, little like Chihuahua type dog. I'm not sure if it is that type of dog, but looking pretty good. I don't know what this outfit is, but this is nice as well. Very cool. And is that a new hairstyle? I'm not even sure. But I'm not going to speculate too much because I don't play Higher and I don't remember that. But let me know anyway. But the doggo, excitement. Very much excitement. We don't know where that stuff's from yet, though. And of course, new emotes. There's lots of content in 6.1. This, like, emote could be from anywhere. I don't know, but it's very... it reminds me of Lys and the Warrior of Light duking it out at the top of Ralga. A statue of Ralga. Very monk-based, sort of like cracking knuckles, sort of preparing for battle thing. Like preceding a bow or something. Yeah, especially with the frowns there. Like, yeah, bring it on. Very exciting. Can't wait to see that. Those 2 potatoes are enjoying themselves, obviously. And at the end of the day, we have, obviously, a media section that's been updated, and that's pretty much it. If you click on the media section, you can actually get full-size images of everything from a special site if you want a nice little extra big view at that stuff, or if you want to look at the old stuff as well, or the trailer, which is fantastic. Anyway, thank you for joining me for possibly what might be the last update to the special site. I'm very excited for 6.1. As you can imagine, I will be covering it in excessive detail with various videos of how to get things, as well as any news, as you know, lots and lots of stuff on the plate for me to do, like I usually do. It's been a bit of a slight hiatus from the game in terms of, you know, content that I could actually deliver to you, but I'll be back with a lot of work next week and onwards, so look forward to that. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.